Greetings, everyone. Well, let's carry on with some horror Blu-ray updates, shall we? Today on the Multimedia Chronicles. Welcome back. Okay, well, we had some pretty good picks last time. Let's see what other Halloween goodies I've added to the collection this year. Alrighty, so again, in no particular order, I just basically have a random pile in front of me, and I'm just kind of doing like 6 or so at a time to get through them. Okay, so first up, we have George A. Romero's Survival of the Dead, and check this out. Lenticular cover! Yeah, I know what a lot of you are probably already saying, like, well, no amount of cool cover action can save this shitfest of a film. Well, I wouldn't know, I haven't watched it yet. So this is actually just a sheet that goes over top. It's not even a proper cover, so it's like, suitable for framing. Yeah, and then the regular, it's just the regular keep case there. And there you go. I guess I didn't really show you the insides in any of them before. There we go. Yeah, so I have not seen Diary of the Dead yet, and I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about Diary and Survival, so I basically adopted you know what, I'm just going to check it out for myself and see how it goes. The last one that I saw was actually Land of the Dead, and honestly I wasn't overly impressed with it, but that was about 5 or 6 years ago. My opinion may have changed since, I don't know. So what the plan is at this stage, I've not watched this yet, because I understand it actually continues on directly from events in Day of the Dead, or Day of the Dead, Diary of the Dead. Too many dead movies, I can't keep track of them all. There's Night, Dawn, Day, Land, Diary, Survival. Okay. Yeah, so basically what the plan is to pick up Land of the Dead on Blu-ray again. Well, I used to have it on DVD, but I pick it up on Blu-ray, get Diary of the Dead, and then have a modern George Romero's Dead Trilogy marathon. Basically just watch all 3 of them back to back one night. So I think that'll be kind of fun, even if they're not the greatest, you know, if they pale in comparison to the originals, which I'm sure they will. I'm sure it'll still be a good time, so I'm looking forward to that. Then next up we got, and I got this for $10. It was at Walmart's Halloween sale. I don't remember what I got all of these for, so I might not always remember the prices just because I've got a lot of these over the course of huge spans of time. I think all of these ones I got all these at Halloween, so I'll be able to give you more or less what I paid for these ones. Okay, so this one in particular got a really good deal. The Wrong Turn 3-pack. Now this was another horror franchise I kind of went in cold. I really hadn't heard much about it. So basically all I knew about it was what little I read on the back. The descriptions are very sparse because this is of course a trilogy pack, so they don't devote a lot of time talking about the individual movies. Each movie is on its own disc, which is quite nice. So no doubling up of movies on single discs there, so that's quite good. I have watched the first 2. I have not watched the third one yet. Some of my friends were saying that this is one of those rare cases where the sequels are actually better than the original. And so far, from what I've seen, that does seem to be the case. The first one I thought was okay. Not really much to write home about. It had some good little suspenseful moments and whatnot. But the second one was just an absolute blast of a roller coaster ride. I mean, it has Henry freaking Rollins in it, for crying out loud, and is a little, you know, kind of blood and guts satire parody of reality television, and yeah, it was just a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the second one a lot, so I'm definitely looking forward to the third one. I know that the fourth one just came out. I have not picked it up yet, but, you know, for the sake of completion, plus the fact I'm enjoying them, I will probably pick up the fourth one at some point when it comes down in price a little bit. So guess what I got this for? This was like the deal to end all deals, especially considering I was going in cold. I'd never seen it before, knew nothing about it other than what I read on the back of the box, and yeah, so really didn't want to invest too much in it simply based on not knowing much about it, and, you know, horror franchises tend to be very hit and miss, I find. So this 3-pack normally goes for about $50. Best Buy had it on sale for $20. I of course used my discount, which knocked it down to $12. Not too shabby. So that basically means I got each movie for $4. on Blu-ray. But Blu-ray is just so expensive. Yeah. Anyway, carrying on. Oh, well, this next one is one that I've been wanting to check out for a while, basically since it came out. I just kept not getting around to it until now. You know, I'm a big fan of the originals from the 30s and 40s. Well, I guess the 40s for this particular one. So I really wanted to see the 2010 version of the Wolfman. Yeah, I really like this one a lot. This one will be in the upcoming in the latest batch of horror reviews, so I won't say too much about it now. But needless to say, I really enjoyed it a lot. I know some people didn't care for it, but it is quite different from the original. It does have some little moments that are nice little nods to the original. I just loved the fact that it was a period piece, and it really had that sort of old school gothic horror flavor to it, but with modern day, you know, modern day horror movie blood and guts. It is a very gory, very violent movie. But it's a lot of fun. I thought Benicio del Toro did a great job. I thought Anthony Hopkins was great as his father. And yeah, just all around a really fun movie. Sure to delight classic movie monster fans. So yeah, this is the kind of remake I don't mind so much because it's based on classic movie monsters, you know, and those are kind of like eternal characters that will always be revisited periodically. I mean, how many Dracula and Frankenstein movies have there been over the years, you know? I mean, you don't really consider those to be remakes of each other, you just consider them new versions of the story. Well, it's the same thing with the Wolfman. I just consider it a new version of the story. I mean, how many different werewolf movies have there been over the years? And really, the Universal Monsters one from the 40s was the first proper werewolf movie. And, well, actually, going back even further, we got the Werewolf of London, really, is the first proper werewolf movie. But the Wolfman was the one that really kind of cemented the story down and made it what we know today. But yeah, anyway, good stuff. If you want to see more, look at my Universal Monsters review of the original Wolfman movies from a couple of Halloweens ago. Then we have The Collector. Now this is one of the ones I picked up at that pawn shop I was telling you about in the previous video. Yeah, I got this basically for $4. Not too shabby. It was their 5 for $20 deal. So yeah, nothing too spectacular here. We just got let's just spin that around there. Yeah. So I know this is another one I was basically going in cold. I figured, hey, it's $4 and I want some new horror movies to watch, something that I'm completely unfamiliar with, and just go in cold and hopefully be nice and scared by. So this is from the writers. Is it the writers? Yeah, the writers of Saws 4, 5, and 6. So I was a little concerned about that, but because I know people seem to feel that the Saw movies kind of go like this, you know, they're really good or they're really bad. I thought that 4, 5, and 6 were the bad ones, but when I posted that I got this on Facebook, everybody said, no, those ones are actually pretty good. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then they added, but the Collector sucked. Like, okay, well, whatever. I paid $4 for it. I'm sure I'll enjoy it anyway. Now this is one I've been wanting to get on Blu-ray basically since it came out. So one of the few movies I've seen in the theaters in recent years. Absolutely loved it. Sam Raimi's return to horror comedy, Drag Me to Hell. And, might I add, with the slipcover. Yeah, I picked this up at the local pawn shop here for, I think, $10 or something like that, like $7 or $10, I forget exactly. Anyway, this is, I think there's only one edition of this out here anyway. It's basically the one with the unrated and theatrical versions. Quite nice. Very nice slipcover. It's got kind of a shininess to it. Almost a metallic sheen. You can see it a little bit there. Anyway, I really loved this movie, as you'll know if you've watched my videos for a while. I did like an in-depth review of it with Annetta shortly after we watched it, and I thought it was great. I thought it was a fine return to form for Sam Raimi. I mean, it's gory, it's scary, it's funny as hell, and of course, not everybody's cup of tea, but the same can be said for the Evil Dead movies. And then finally, speaking of Universal Monster movies, this is sort of the I guess, what year was this? The 2009. It was not 2009. 2003. Yes, this is the 2003 kind of love letter to Universal horror movies from writer-director Stephen Sommers, starring Hugh Jackman. Van Helsing. Yeah, I know this is kind of a love it or hate it movie. A lot of people really don't care for it. I actually have not seen this since it was in theaters. But again, I got this as one of the 5 for 20 deals at that pawn shop. So how could I pass up Van Helsing for $4, you know? And it's got a ton of extras on there too. I mean, this is a nice meaty collection. And, you know, I thought it would just make a nice little addition to the Universal Monsters library, as it were. Because, I mean, this basically has all of them in it in updated form. And the whole thing, I mean, this whole movie exists solely to be a big tribute to the Universal Monsters, you know? So, how can you not like that? I mean, it may not be the greatest movie, but it's got heart, you know? Its heart is in the right place. And Hugh Jackman is fucking awesome. I mean, who doesn't like him as Wolverine? If you don't like the movies, you gotta admit, he is fantastic as Wolverine. And, you know, I've enjoyed him in pretty much everything else I've seen him in, too. Hell, even Kate and Leopold. I thought he was hilarious in Kate and Leopold. Mind you, who didn't have a thing for Meg Ryan in the 80s anyway, right? So, yeah. Anyway. That's it for today's update. So we have Survival of the Dead, The Wrong Turn Trilogy, The Wolfman, The Collector, Drag Me to Hell, and Van Helsing. Some very cool additions to the Blu-ray horror collection, I think. I think these ones are more proper. I mean, the last time there was a couple that could kind of be slotted into other categories, but I think these ones are good and proper horror movies. So definitely having a lot of fun with all of them. So far, what have I watched? I haven't even watched all these. I watched 2 of these. I watched this one. I haven't watched these ones yet, but I've seen these 2 movies before. So, there you go. It is what it is. Alrighty, that is it from me to you for now. So until next time, thanks for watching, and sayonara.